commented on this video and I was like agreeing with her. I was like, yeah, exactly. I love being a stay-at-home wife. Can't wait to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to get a job because I don't want a fucking job. If I wanted a job, I would get a job. I do not need a job. And someone was like, all the other people said that too. All the stay-at-home moms said that too. And look what that done. I'm like, okay, their husbands are trash. Mine is not. Well, they thought their husbands weren't trash. Okay, just because, first of all, I know you have a husband. I know you don't. That's easy to see, easy to identify. And just because your husband sucks doesn't mean my husband sucks. Yours does. Mine does.
There's a lot to unpack in this video. Let me just start here. There are times when we as a society agree collectively that something is so inherently dangerous that we need to prevent it, whether that's through regulation and legislation or just social pressure. For instance, not wearing a seatbelt, people under the age of 21 drinking alcohol, taking your dog for a walk on a sidewalk without a little strap attached to his neck. Why do we collectively care so much right now about the dialogue and protective measures around women like this depending on their intimate partners for everything, for their food, for their home, for their income for the rest of their lives, for retirement, healthcare? Because we're finally starting to recognize more and more the inherent danger of this lifestyle. I was the ultimate stay-at-home mom because I was a Mormon child life. So I had all the things. I had the religion and the belief that what I was doing was God's plan for my life and for my children. I had 4 kids and that wasn't enough, so we adopted an extra one. And I had all the benefits of that Mormon trad wife glam. Like, we had the $1 million houses and the Mercedes and the boats and the RVs. And I spent the entire summer in a $3 million house in Maui overlooking the Pacific Ocean, taking a bath on this clawfoot tub out on the patio, watching the sunset over Molokai. Ski trips to Telluride, where the mountainside concierge would wax up my skis for me, clip my little feet into them, and give me a push towards the run. I mean, literally, that was my life. That was my life for 24 years. And if you've been on any of my TikToks, you know that that came at a price. That price was that my husband was abusive in so many different ways. I don't think that he missed a single abuse checkbox. But I was raised in a shit show of a family, and I upgraded when I married Jake. He was a lot nicer to me than my dad was. So when I got married at age 20, I had a little bit less abuse and a little bit less screaming and a little bit less craziness and money, and all this stuff. Upgrade. Then one day in 2018, just a couple days after we had celebrated our anniversary, Jake told me he was going to go up to Barrow's Pizza and do some work so that he could get away from the house and get ready for his work week. And what he was actually doing was driving to a QT gas station where he had arranged to pick up a 19-year-old escort. I always say she was 19 because that's what he had put into the Google search bar. 19-year-old escort Phoenix. So all of a sudden, just like that, all the stuff went away. The house and the cars and the trips to Maui. Within 2 days, I couldn't buy a bag of groceries at Trader Joe's. I had to have a family member Apple Pay me at the register $43 so that I could buy milk and bread for my kids. This morning, sorry, I said I was going to cry anymore in my videos. I keep reshooting this. I can't cry. This morning, I woke up an hour early, laid here in bed, filled out an application for a tiny little apartment. Barely had the money to put the deposit on because my uncle, whose guest house I have been renting, gave us about 5 weeks to get out. This will be the 4th time since my marriage ended that my kids have lost a home. The 4th time that my kids have been sorting through closets to decide what goes to Goodwill, what goes to storage, what we can squeeze into this tiny little apartment. While 60% of men do better after divorce, women across the board do not do better after divorce. Period. End of story. All data shows that women are worse off after divorce. Less than 80% of stay-at-home moms have any retirement in their name, which is why elderly, unmarried women who have been divorced or widowed are the highest poverty demographic in our country. I personally feel that it's time to illegalize alimony. Take it off the table, eliminate it. If there was no alimony, there would never be another little 20-something with her cute little dimples, talking about how she married a good apple and her husband is better than all the husbands. And this shit is never going to happen to her. And when she's 70 and she can't afford her insulin and her diabetic medication or whatever the thing is, and she's living with her kids or living in the streets, take alimony away, and I guarantee the women going to work would be exponentially higher. Better tax credits for childcare, paternity leave for men, and across the board, state-mandated payment for stay-at-home moms. Minimum wage at the minimum put into an account that is non-divisible in case of divorce. It is only hers. It is never his. A man is not a plan. He can be your husband. He can be your boyfriend, your lover, your roommate, whatever you want him to be, but he is not your financial future.